Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Underrail. In the last video, we were up there, having fought our way back to the beginning of this compound, and eliminated the folks who were staring out over the train, so that we could finally get into it and examine it, and see if we could possibly either get it working again, or figure out what was wrong with it and find the parts over in the compound. But off screen, I did a little bit of stuff in between, well, obviously then and now. And, well, it turns out we're probably not going to have to do anything like that. So we'll talk a little bit about what it is I've done, and we'll talk a little bit about what I thought of the compound. I'll talk a little bit about what you guys have said for comments in the last video, and then we'll get going. But this little bit of talking might take a lot of bit of time, so I'll try to remember to put a skip link here for you guys to jump past some of this to get to where we actually start going. Hopefully this will take like maybe like 7 or 8 minutes or so tops, but I want to chat for a bit, so let's go ahead and do it. So first off, the train. So I checked all the corpses here, and aside from a unique machine gun, sorry, is that right? Yeah, that's right, light machine gun on Torrance here, there wasn't anything too remarkable on these poor people. And there's no option to repair the train. It looked as if there were two options to get the instrument panel functioning again, but I can't use this to get the train going again. With a decent score in electronics, you can kind of hotwire this panel and get it working again. Otherwise, you need a significant amount of actual batteries plugged into a battery slot out here to recharge the train, in a similar fashion to how one might recharge their jet ski or the strongmen over in the Underrail DLC. So I had fully charged a battery, came over here, and then also did the instrument panel option, but I think it did the same thing. Once again, there's no option for us to actually get the train moving. It's just you get to study and stare at, in the opposite order, the instrument panel for a while, which makes me believe that maybe we could have gotten into this area earlier, and that would have allowed us to eliminate these folks, which maybe we didn't have to eliminate at all, and access this panel, which then would allow us to leave. So I think to leave, we actually have to walk out to the south, back where we came from, and the train is effectively here forever. It's not going to move again. And there was nothing in the compound that we needed to do. If that is the case, that's super interesting, that all the compound is 100% optional. Like, you can go in there if you like, you don't gotta go in there, and you can leave whenever you like. I thought generally the idea was that you have the teleport, if you were smart enough to bring Juice with you, but otherwise, you have to go in there. You're kind of trapped in this spot, and yet, to escape, you have to navigate the compound, deal with the patrols, find something in there to repair the train or eliminate these guys. So, that's interesting, and I like that. I won't feel, if I ever do this content again, I will not feel as compelled to go deep into the compound. Probably just the outside areas, and never walk any deep in there with any of my other characters. For the compound itself, let's talk about it for a bit. And also, this gives me an excuse to talk about, I guess, your guys' comments, too. So, I can't pronounce your name. I'll try again. Tushajbe Jason is how I see it in my English eyes, so I apologize for murdering your Polish name again. And Rob Rowe have pointed out someone's lore video by the name of, what is it? Oh man, I have it written down, but I can't actually read my own handwriting. Inkscape Panda videoed up his 83rd video in one of his playlists, details some of the lore of this spot, and it sounds as if, I haven't watched it yet, that he was able to complete it in the to get a good ending of this particular area. So I will have to go and watch that, as I do not understand how this area could have a good ending unless you're able to, say, persuade the cognitor to stop doing what he's doing and stand down all the troops, and possibly allow other vehicles to go through this area for some reason. So, they recommended this video. If you're curious about the good ending, I would recommend you then go over there and maybe watch it. Although I have not seen it, we're not getting the good ending because Vladimir has pointed out to me that to get a good ending, you cannot kill more than 12 of these patrols. And we've killed, like, at this point, probably close to 20-ish. Well, more than that, 25. Maybe even 30 if we count this group over here. So that wasn't going to happen. Supposedly there's something funny that happens, or something unique that occurs if you put on his helmet. I did not even bother to do that. The helmet looked like... So I didn't even consider putting the helmet on because I didn't want to lose the psionic slot in my brain. And that helmet's far away, and I don't want to walk over there to get it. So it will just be unequipped. So, Vladimir, feel free to leave another comment if you like in this video, and I will pin it so people can see what actually transpires if you put that helmet on. Or, no, not see what transpires, but learn what happens if you put that helmet on. Anything else? Looking back now at what I went through here, this is a bit unlike anything, most of the things I have encountered in the game. Most of the time in Underrail, I don't have to deal with random patrols walking around, but you do have to deal with them in some areas of the game. It's a lot like dealing with enemies on jet skis, since they're driving around and can suddenly bump into you when combat starts. And like those battles, there tends to be someone in a group of jet skis who's armed with EMP grenades and can kill me with a single toss of them, like the Aegis Incorporated jet skiers would do, or when we attacked the Protectorate on that one boat, the plasma turrets and folks on it were armed with EMP grenades, for example. So I should have been a little more forgiving, a little less angry or frustrated at this. This area works like those areas. I hadn't expected it to be so difficult. I don't think any of my builds are really suited for this type of content. And in defense of this area, it is advertised, I believe, on the Steam page that this is like the uber test of your character build to determine how good it is if you can make it through this spot. So there is that, and we are also playing on hard, which is a little, which is kind of unforgiving for this sort of thing. I know enough about Underrail and what to expect throughout it with my characters to be able to do these with the someone's mentioned the term, which I really like, unoptimized builds that I run, which are more thematic and more, what's what I'm looking for? Flavorful, I suppose I should say. Less metagamey. And I want to stress there's nothing wrong with playing the game that way, like either way I play it, or playing a fluffy meta build game that eliminates everyone in a single turn with like 1,000,000 action points, and it's amazing. But I like playing these fluffy builds instead, and when I began playing this game, way back when, my first playthrough with Garrett, up until now, I really want to show other people who may watch Underrail videos that you don't need to build a meta build way. Like, you can beat the game on normal through hard with a fluffy build, as long as you don't deviate into too many things all at once and weaken your character. But otherwise, you can do it. Like, you can take a feat like Burglar. You can. You don't want to take too many of them, and the higher the difficulty, the less you can take. And on dominating, what I'm saying is incorrect. I don't know if any of my builds would survive dominating at all. I don't think they would. But dominating asks you to play the game in an entirely different way than I like playing the game. So dominating is not for me. And on a similar note, stuff like this area is also generally not for me. I'm glad that we were able to do it. I'm glad I saw it, and I liked it here, but it's so difficult. It's very tough, and I don't... When I have to reload the game over and over and over and over again, because I'm dying over and over and over again, the immersion I have of playing the game is removed, and instead it becomes a video game. And I think about puzzle numbers. I think about the most optimal way to try to get through an area, and I generally don't want to play this game that way. Once again, there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. Some people like the what's the word I'm trying to use here? I can't think of it. They like the recipe, that's the wrong word, I'm gonna use it, of figuring out what they need to take, when they need to take it, what skills to use, the best order to use them in, and try it on all the challenges that they meet. There are some insane people out there that even do this, like that play this game on dominating mode and try to play through it as like an Iron Man game, where if they die even once, that's it. They start all over again. God bless them. That requires a way of thinking about a game that I do not possess. I am very impressed by these folks, and I can never and will never play a game that way. This area feels a bit like that to me. It requires me to view the game and engage in the combat in a way that feels a bit weird to me. But it's fine. It is fine. And also these combats really stress that you use your character in the way that he is supposed to be used. Our character is not a super high, as we mentioned, I think in the last video, we're not a super high DPS character. We don't have a whole lot of amazing tricks to like recover action points or things. We are a hit and run character, taking out folks individually, one by one, with plasma beam, keeping things crowd controlled by setting them on fire, and using our spear when things get too close, and to help save side points here or there. But we're using a spear, which is not a great weapon, all things considered, in this game. We didn't go super heavy inside. We haven't really spec'd super high in our stats, and so we don't excel at anything. And the higher difficulty that you play in, the more punished you could be for those things, depending upon what you're fighting. And this area really feels like it punishes you for these things. Super high, difficult for us skill checks, for example. We can't meet any of them, because our character didn't take any high skills whatsoever. Like, we can't get a 13 in something. We can't. And we can't get a 13 agility, can't get a 13 strength, we can't get a 13 in perception. Like, none of this. It's not happening. So anyway, this meant that we have to agonizingly, slowly take down these very difficult enemies, but we were still able to do it. So at the end of the day, even though we died a lot, we did manage to complete this content, and I think we did, and I am super glad that we did together. All right, and with all that said, I am beginning to babble a lot. Let's reload the game so I get back my food timer. And let's head south, which is what I think will take us to the exit. I think. Now, we didn't hit any mines on the way here. We reached them only at this spot. So I am hoping that means that we won't encounter any more traps or enemies on the way down out of here. After a long walk, I'm listening. Okay. I remember this junction. This is where we took the wrong turn. That's promising. That means I'm guessing we're not going to be fighting any more members of that organization that we were just dealing with. So I don't see the little platform that we had camped on. Alright, that looks like a dead end, so we're not going in either of those directions. I'm guessing that you can't go in this direction if you did not examine the instrument panel. Okay, here's where we made camp. We didn't explore anything here. Status locked. Unlock? Unlocking. Low power. Unlocking. Low power. Unlocking. Low power. Okay, we're not unlocking it then. We are instead, low power. Perhaps that's a good thing. I don't know if my pride could take dying again to something new in this area. Someone put a round right through it. Yep, we had stared at that earlier. I heard electricity over here, briefly, which makes me think of coil spiders. That would be... God! That would be awful to walk into coil spiders just after I survived all of the nonsense in the compound. I'll be damned. It's that rest station, isn't it? We've almost made it. A part of me doesn't want to explore anything because I don't want to die anymore. That's one of the reasons why I left the fusion cannon where it was. Vladimir pointed out that that weapon is extremely powerful, and we should have taken it. It's so much that, oh come on Tim, like that thing would have been really amazing if you had taken it. Like at least grab it. You followed that way for it is would probably be the excuse my character would have if he wanted it, but I didn't see a need to have it, and since there were so many of those infrared beams on all the columns, I just thought, oh, nope, we're not doing that. Actually, we will do that. Hold on. I didn't want to die yet again, and it's a weapon that I won't use whatsoever, and we've already taken a few things from this place as mementos, so I don't need to grab more things from it. Yeah, we're lugging back a lot of other loot. That was a lunatic impaler, is what that said. So let's see. And a freezer. So plasma beam should kill the freezer and maybe heavily damage the impaler. We got both. Was that the only things here? No, we do have a psychopath. Okay. I will slow him. And then run. Psychopaths have mental breakdown. I can't move up that far. If I do, we're dead. Oh, no! There's another one! We have a great chance to hit, and we can make 2 attacks. So we'll sprint to get close to him. That was lucky. that I had used my, my plasma beam there. I would have thought it was over, and then when I couldn't end combat, I would have been panicking. I was originally just going to move behind this column, so I am very glad that we used it. Or we would have died here. He would have mental breakdown us, put the biolocation on us, and then hit us with the thought control ability. Probably crit and killed us is what would have happened there. Alright, more like it, back to standard groups I'm used to that aren't wandering around and patrolling. And of course, being able to get the drop on them is very useful. Very useful makes things like this more favorable for us. I don't know why I'm taking all this stuff. We don't need this. Yeah, we don't need this. There's nothing special about the Impaler's spear. Hypnos rest station guidelines. 1 blanket per bed. 1 pillow per bed. Flip the mattress over before taking a nap. Do not move the beds. Use the trash cans outside. Use towel after sauna. Drink water at your own risk. Oh, well, that was a misclick. I want to do the door trick, just in case we have more lunatics. And we do. That said a lunatic beamer, didn't it? Passerbys, we wish you a warm welcome. What that signpost says. Do we have anything we can put here? We cannot. Okay. Alright, let's do this. I do not know what a beamer would do. I'm assuming it's a plasma beam that he will throw. We have another psychopath, so we need to slow him. That does not do significant damage. Uh-oh. We still might be in trouble. Our gunslinger is in the way. Come here, little talking mushroom. He cannot be set on fire. Oh no! What is that nonsense? What is that over there? That must be the wind. That's a lot of beamers. They do have plasma beam. Oh no. What? Where are they coming from? I think we're dead. Our friend is under attack and dying. Yeah, he's dead. Those doppelgangers will kill him. So I think we have to reload at this point. Yeah, so unfortunately, viewer, we're just gonna do it now. Those doppelgangers will slaughter him. They're here for 3 more turns, and that's the end of him. Yeah, we have to reload. Oh, I guess we will play and see if he dies, but I am almost 100% sure he is going to die. Let's see. We have plasma beam too, sir. He has to kill whatever's in front of him and run away. He can't just stay there. No, yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Good God! Yeah, he's dead and we're dead. We are both dead. Is the problem here. We are both dead. Yeah. The good news, I suppose, is that we're gonna die first. Eat bugs, bug eater! Oh, another psychopath, of course. Oh, wow. Wow! And the gunman's dead. Alright, so we die second. Alright, let's reload the game now. I have no intention of doing this, so we're just gonna run. This is insane. That's an insane amount of lunatics. No way. Forget it. That's not worth it. After so many hours of darkness, the mood swiftly shifted the moment you stepped out into the stretch of gravel and steel, special for nothing else but the fact that it's underneath proper lights. He takes a moment to absorb it all, then smiles. Finally. I've gotten sick of the dark territory myself. That's unbalanced garbage! We didn't exactly reach North Underrail, but I'll take Upper Underrail over where Nimble and the rest went. He readjusts his goggles. Now what? I didn't come back empty-handed. I'm going straight to the merchants. I've had enough excitement for the time being. What I need right now is a cold one. Some time to think things through. Well, I'll consider it. Before I forget, he returns all the items you gave him. Much obliged. I'll be at that food stand at Upper Underrail station in Core City, at least for a while. Must be Zilla's. Got it. I am not doing that battle against those lunatics. That is insane. That literally, they're lunatics. They're already insane. That fight is nuts. There is no way. There is no way I will win that battle. I would have to kill all the lunatics within that one room so I could get in that room and use it to keep all those enemies from getting line of sight to me. Yeah, too many. Way too many. Psychers are amongst the most dangerous enemies I can think of in this game. Both when you play one, you're more powerful than characters who don't have any psychics, and when you fight them. So viewer, that will end it then for us. In so much that I think we're done with Underrail. We've seen everything there is to see. I am content with what we have done. We've completed the... I cannot think of the name now. We completed the DLCs. We've beaten the game. Our house is fully decked out. And I am done. So, we'll store some stuff, look at the character one last time, briefly, and then take the train to North Underrail. It's not the merchants I'm going to, right? Correct. We're going home. Do I have any juice? We have 2 juices. Oh, viewer, it was a blast to play through this game again. 4 times on my channel. 4 times. I am looking forward to Infusion. I think that's what it's called, right? When that one comes out sometime in the future. I had seen Stygian Software's little... it wasn't a demo, but the video they put out on it to show that it's coming along. I liked it. I prefer the graphics of this, like the drawn graphics, than the more realistic looking graphics that it has. But it still looks good. And since like you get to start all over in a whole nother area of Underrail, I can't wait to play it and die the million times that we're gonna die together playing that game. It will be glorious when it finally comes out. Some 18 years from now, probably. Hopefully, as I was alluding to at the beginning of this video, I have shown that even in hard mode, you can get through the game with a character. Beat Short, beat all of the Expedition DLC. You can even struggle through Heavy Duties DLC. Not that I intend to really do it again, but you are capable of doing it with a good amount of patience and a lot of reloading. It can be done to some extent. And now we get to put all the loot I've picked up away. Which we don't have very much of, to be fair. I guess that was something I was a little disappointed at for the DLC. There was some decent stuff at the very end, but it was only psychic stuff. You know, quality, we didn't find it, to my knowledge, nothing else was of quality 150. Only the very end psychic components were that high quality, which is a bit disappointing. Maybe it works like the Deep Caverns and that it's a chance to get good stuff, not guaranteed, in which case we just got unlucky that we did not get anything fantastic from it. The psychic stuff is nothing to sneeze at, but I don't see myself remaking the items that I've made already for myself. Like, I wouldn't make another helmet with the stuff I have here. If I had a universal... Oh, we do. 142 Sonic Watch. I think mine was made with something higher, though. Or just as good. But the only thing I could consider making something new out of if we had found something there would have been a very high-level electroshock generator. Since we're not using something that I think was of higher quality, higher than 142 or so. And of course, we have no need for something like the fusion cannon, because we don't have any points in heavy weaponry. Sorry about this. It's very important. Everything be put back into its proper slot. Even though I'll probably never be using Tim again. We have this last motor to put away. And then... Alright! Well, viewer, that does it for us. Let's look at Tim one last time. Here he is. The mighty quadruple 8s for the high stats that we possess. I knew we could do it. I knew we could get through all of standard Underrail because I had made it to the Deep Caverns earlier last summer, and I knew I could make it through the DLC, having done it with another character at a lower level. So I knew that was possible. I did not know anything about the heavy-duty DLC, and once again, I don't think I'm going to walk into it with any other characters. It's not the type of content that generally I enjoy, but I did like doing it once. I liked seeing it with you guys, and I will watch other people play through that area in the future. That's probably not for any of the types of characters I make. They're not really... Their focus is not going to allow them, because they're not super focused, to do that content without a lot of frustration. So, not for me. Thankfully, there's nothing in there that I view as super important, nor do I really feel like I need anything from there with any of my characters. Here's all our skills again. We're a hybrid psychic spear character. All my feats one last time, in case you guys are curious, want to see them. My specs. And we're done. So, I suppose I'll take this time now to, once again, thank Stygian Software for making this amazing game. I have sunk over 2,500 hours into this game. I have beaten this game like 12 times. Almost all on normal, but now I have several characters ready to beat short on hard mode. It is fantastic. I have loved this game. But the soundtrack is amazing. The sounds are fantastic. Combat is great. It has fantastic replayability, with you being able to join different factions, and with all the different character builds you can play. You have quite a lot, like 50 or more different types of character builds you can get through the game with. There are huge whole discussions on the internet about getting the most out of every single point for your character, stat-wise and skill-wise out there, and all sorts of different character builds people have agonized over and built to go and try if you do like following other people's builds and using a guide, or experiment with your own. It is amazing. The story is great. The writing is good. I like the gameplay. The only complaints I would have is that friendly fire is awful. If you accidentally hit anybody, you're going to reload that battle. And you have to get used to reloading. Death happens very quickly when things go wrong, or can. But I think that adds to the charm of the game. It is quite difficult. Sometimes you make mistakes. Hopefully you learn from them. Which is another thing I like about this game. You are punished for your own mistakes. You should learn from them. But also there is that element of randomness to it. You can miss several attacks in a row, and then you're dead. And although we all hate that, we also all secretly like it, because it keeps things spicy and fresh for us when we play the game. And it just occurs to me, we're not ambushed and killed from Aaron here, so Tim gets to not be attacked by him before he leaves for North Underrail as well. Anything else to say about the game? Game's balance is phenomenal. It is a little closer to being the perfect balanced game. There are a few things that indeed are probably a little more powerful than others. Grenades are still very good. Psionic powers are still very good. But at least Psionics was tuned down a few years ago to make it about as good, only as good, as some of the other really good things in this game. So I think it's a very well-balanced game as well. Yeah, I've got nothing else. I did review this game with a big review several years ago, and I remember giving it what I consider now to be a very low score, all things considered. I don't have my scoring system written at this moment, it being on an older computer. So I don't think I could adequately give it a score at this time. But I would say I would highly recommend this game for anyone looking for an amazing world, a good story, fantastic turn-based combat, assuming you like isometric turn-based combat games, similar to what like Fallout was. And I'm going to say something that might be controversial. I think this is the best type of these games I have ever played. This is, in my humble opinion, this is better than the first two Fallouts were. I really like Underrail. It's a phenomenal game. Honestly, one of the better games I have played. And with all that said, viewer, it's time to now end the game. There is something, though, I'm curious about. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I have never done it. And I'm curious. You see, viewer, we've taken a stance against the Protectorate during our time here as the Free Drones. One of the reasons Tim didn't join the expedition forces, I like to think, is because he discovered that they indeed were ex-Protectorate and decided to sabotage them by joining the pirates. There's someone else who is very pro-Protectorate here. And the ending involving Southgate Station involves her, and she's in the room with me. I've always been curious. This is a bit psychopathic here, so normally I would not do this. But if I kill Vera Hale and then take the train, does the ending get a little different here? You guys have told me that if we were to attack Apogee Station, the ending does not change at all, which is one of the reasons why I'm not going to even attempt it. But I do wonder, if we kill Vera, does the ending change? And so, on that note, let's find out if it does. I don't want to kill everyone, but we won't be able to interact with that elevator while combat's going on. So unfortunately, we will have to kill a few people. Oh, essay. Essay! I'm so sorry, but you're dead now too. Never fought one of these sentries before. Good to see they can still easily be destroyed. Are still easily destroyed? Looks like they're not too difficult to kill. Okay. Let's now end the game. Let's do it. As before, during the Faceless blockade, it was still business as usual in Junkyard. The balance of power between the Black Eels and Scrappers held. Protectorate, however, was forced to evacuate the premises after the drones took control of the station above. You might remember we cleared out everyone in the embassy. Having been bombed from above constantly and having little in the way of resupplying and reinforcing their position, they eventually struck a deal with the Eels and evacuated through the waterways. Now, we killed everyone in the embassy. There was no one alive yet to make that type of deal. This finally put an end to the Protectorate's idea of being able to integrate the far south into their territory anytime soon. Outside of Junkyard, however, things were looking grim. After a sonar station hidden on the rig was destroyed, their control over the waterways began to disintegrate. It's chaos! No ship was safe beyond their home ports, and soon waterway traffic began to thin out as merchants turned to railways for transporting their goods. This affected the entire economic climate of not only Junkyard, but the entire South Underrail for the worse for many years to come. That sucks. But good for the pirates! With both Burrowers and the Rat Hound King out of the way, Harthonians extended their hunting grounds and grew their community. We never did kill the giant named Pig, did we? Or so it seemed. As the pirate menace grew, Camp Harthor found itself subjugated not only to great economic losses, but to raids directed at its coastal territories. This forced them to turn to Southgate Station and sign a protection agreement, as well as a trading one, which gave them access to Southgate Station's metro station. Oh, that's not necessarily a bad thing then for them, all things considered, although they're less independent now. This brought the two communities even closer in the struggle against rampant piracy, and helped keep surrounding communities from starvation. Well, that's good, so out of a negative, a positive happened here. Though you took care of their faceless problem, rail crossings trouble had only just begun. This only ends bad for them, depending upon how you view the Protectorate. Since they lost too many people during their faceless attack, they had to seek help from the Protectorate. However, the train carrying the aid never arrived. Yep. We ensured that it would never arrive. Eventually, the nearby Ironhead clans took notice of the station's weakness state and mounted an assault. Despite being weakened by the absence of Baylor and his clan, the bandits had smelled weakness and kept on with their offensive. Technically, there were no Ironheads left alive in all of Underrail, so I guess they must have come from the Dark Territory. Super powerful psionic ones. Though the initial attack was repelled, the few survivors decided not to wait for a second one and abandoned the station. Some headed for Southgate Station, and some headed for Core City, but the bulk of the community, led by Herv, stuck together and is said to have settled somewhere to the north. Well, we know it's not anywhere near the compound. That area is way too tough for these folks. Maybe they played the game on easy mode. With the Beast dead, Foundry was able to resume its production. Though economically prosperous and safe from outside threats, the city continued to suffer the same health hazards. Is there a way to actually stop that from happening? To my knowledge, there is no way. Life in Core City went on as before. Caged by the city's high concrete walls and mesmerized by violent entertainment, workers, merchants, bandits, zoners all struggled onward, while the Ogliarchs played their shadowy games. One organization sought to challenge the balance of power in the city, though. The Silver Hand, formed from the Zone Rats gang led by Gorski, who left Southgate Station to pursue his ambition of taking control of Core City. Yet Dan died. Unfortunately, right? He didn't make it. He spent all his action points attacking some guy who was immune to his machine gun instead of the stealth guys who killed him. Though met with fierce opposition from the established Ogliarchs, the organization still survived and, due to enjoying the general support of zoners and other poor inhabitants of the city, managed to carve out a small piece of Core City for itself. Hey, good luck, Gorski. They should have called themselves Gorky 17, though. People still flocked in great numbers to watch the arena, their thirst for blood never quite satisfied. But us, we, the Invictus, had left. The legend of Firestarter, a mysterious gladiator who came from nowhere and quickly rose to the title of Invictus, would live for years to come. No one wanted to fight us anyway. There were no other battles to happen there. With the destruction of Epony Lab, the loss of South Underrail Station, and finally the evacuation of Junkyard Embassy, the Protectorate suffered devastating setbacks and was in the end forced to abandon their plans to take control of South Underrail, at least for the time being. However, their numbers in Upper Underrail and Core City remained strong still, as did their will to dominate. It was only a matter of time before they would rise again. I got the impression they're a really strong, large faction, so even if you kick them out of South Underrail, they will still eventually get down there again. The enormous success of free drones in pushing the Protectorate out of their far south took everyone by surprise. No one dared to hope that such a small cell would accomplish such great a task. Good job, guys. For freedom! But this just goes to prove the old proverb that it's not about the size of the rat in the fight, but the size of the fight in the rat. I like that saying. I would have to remember that. The discovery of the spy in their midst had a twofold effect. On one hand, drones were able to operate in much greater safety, and found that their plans were not thwarted as often anymore. On the other hand, the knowledge of this betrayal sows seeds of doubt and mistrust among comrades. Who else could also be a spy? This is a threat that would always have existed for the Free Drones and Protectorate. The opposite's also true for the Protectorate forces. Once the Protectorate soldiers managed to crack the heavy gate and enter the Institute, they found none alive among the carnage. All the bodies of the dead Faceless were gone, and all the Chortists lay where they fell. So I guess even though we killed the Protectorate out here, they sent another group from Fort Apogee. That sucks. That was fun to start playing the game again here. Except for one. Aiden's body was never found. Following Chort's death, Harmos Starvos led the remaining Racifors out of Deep Caverns. Their discarded uniforms were found in Lower Underrail, but it's unknown where they went from there. Yeah, we never fought the Chortists down in Deep Caverns. This is the first time I simply never engaged with them. The Black Sea expedition struggled as soon as its ships sailed into all but forgotten waters. So much new stuff for me to read here. Unfortunately, great persistence wasn't enough for them to survive this immense pressure, and the native raids eventually led to the camp's utter destruction. The mutilated bodies of sect troopers and expeditionary staff will serve as a gruesome warning. Oh, man! Wow! In the beginning, since the expedition's arrival, the Grim Jetters mostly kept to their own part of the sea, waiting for the right time to strike. With the expedition out of their way, they did manage to launch a couple of successful raids, even against a well-defended Protectorate ship, each claiming larger spoils of war and instilling more fear into the hearts of waterway sailors than the last. With no one able to stand in their way, the Grimjitters became the de facto masters of the South Underrail waterways for years to come, and the mighty rig, once a mighty symbol of Black Eel control over the waters, was now but a tiny bit of safe haven. Oh, I guess we did. Yeah, we didn't slaughter all the Black Eels there, just almost all of them. Back in the Black Sea, the unlocked Lemurian facilities were quickly looted of their wealth, technology, and art, plenty of which later found its way back to Underrail for its denizens to marvel at. And then maybe back in the hands of the pirates again if they were trying to ship it over water. With the intruders torn apart, the life of the Sombarian returned to normal. Encouraged by their victory, they started to exert more pressure on the outlying Grim Jaders' territories, especially around Port Crag. New ships were built, new weapons forged, and new warriors were raised for war. That's kind of good then. It keeps the balance even in this area, for keeping the Grim Jetters from becoming too strong. But the glowing canine not only marked a spot which they never went beyond, but one they never dared approach. Well, yeah, we learned a whole lot about that too. It's designed to destroy them, given how their souls are linked to the Great Serpent. The repairing of the generator improved the quality of life greatly in the Moody Refuge, and not only in a practical sense. The bright shining lights, it seems, illuminated their views on the existence as well, and helped them reevaluate it. And soon, a faint sense of hope began to spread across the refuge. I forgot that we didn't kill the Muties. Good for them. A happy ending for someone. The acorn, it is no more. It perished in the intense heat of one electric arc furnace named Gloria. Lost Fremen, there you go. There's your ending. Holy crap. And the ferryman, he still roams about on his trusty ferry, scouring the depths of the Black Sea. Oh, I expected a little more about the Shadowlith. Oh, and here it is, maybe. Todd found a new life as the Donnie's big helper, and the hard work it entailed had a great positive effect on both his physique and psyche. Hey! Good for you, Todd! He slowly socialized, and with the help of his fatherly figure of humble size, he became an integrated member of the Grim Jetters. Hey! See? The pirates aren't all bad, despite the earlier text we had read. Among the pirate women, he found many loves and founded no family. Holy crap! Like to think he and Calamity got it on. An ill-fated journey to North Underrail was violently cut short in the middle of dark territory, near a sequestered military compound. There's a jerk that made me reload about 50 times, standing right there. After finding your way into the compound, you managed to reach the supreme commander of the station's soldiery, the Cognitor. Or Cognator? Cognitor, I think is correct. He controlled his subordinates through acute telepathy, a process that placed a heavy burden upon him. Each death struck a blow to his psyche, and by the time you found him, it had been shattered. Yeah, we killed like 20 or so forces. Troops, at least that many, and more on the way out. Putting him out of his misery was the least you could have done. I'm glad it was a happy ending then up here of sorts. Having found yourselves in a dangerous predicament, you teamed up with a gunslinger, the last surviving member of the crew aboard Majori. However, your cooperation lasted only up until your goals at the compound had been achieved. After spending some more time in a much calmer environment, you both went on your separate ways. As a super introvert, I would not want a partner. I like to think that Tim here also would view things the same way. What? Under Vera's leadership, Southgate Station fostered a good relationship with the Protectorate and the United Station. She's dead, Stig. Though things were certainly slowed by the troubles that befell the Protectorate, it eventually came to pass that Southgate Station became an official part of the United Station. She's dead! We killed her! She's dead! This is a lie! This is Protectorate propaganda, viewer. Do not look at... We're not reading any of this. This is Protectorate propaganda. This is a lie. Do not pay attention to this. We should all know. We should all recognize this by now. We've achieved all the oddie points from reading all the Protectorate propaganda anymore. We get nothing from this. We're not reading that. That's not true. She's dead. This did not happen. As for yourself, you decided there were more important things than managing a station, and that your destiny lies elsewhere. You boarded a train that took you far to the north to Hexagon. We hope to find Rum Umbra. Having retrieved their precious artifact, the faceless retreated back into the depths from which they came. And we never discovered what to do with the medallion they gave me. Yep. I don't think anyone has discovered what that medallion does. Alright, guys, and thus ends Underrail. Not bad. I was kind of hoping for a different ending, but for Southgate Station, since we killed Vera right there at the very end. But I can understand why that wasn't the case. Similar to how I guess even if you destroy every single protectorate in Fort Apogee, it doesn't end any differently there. So. Oh wow, and that is it. All right, guys. So thank you again for watching. I hope this playlist was fun, and I will see you in the next game, assuming that you care to join me for some. Take care, everyone, and thanks again for watching.